Good evening, you fabulous bunch of darts fans joining us for Friday night action here at the Online Darts Live League. We've had the conclusion of Group A yesterday. Sorry, that was on Wednesday. I'm getting ahead of myself already. What a cracking start. We've seen the climax of Group B today, which has seen Kevin Burness and Stephen Burton progress to the finals. Two more players will book their spot in the finals, with Martin Adams already there. It's extremely likely that neither of these two will get there unless they have a perfect evening and deny the top three in the table lots of points this evening. Jamie Clark, who played very, very steadily yesterday, but was the person who everybody seemed to turn up against yesterday. He had to wait until his fourth and final match against Matt Dennant to get his first 2 points. I'd have to hang on to your hats for this one because these two are quite rapid.
82.
So last night, first look at Jamie Clark. First look at the likes of Darren Beveridge and Greg Ritchie as well, all from Scotland, alongside the seasoned Shaun McDonald from the rest of the week, who has played alongside Matt Dennant.
40.
We do have 3 Scottish players in the top 3 spots. Darren Beveridge on 6 points. We have Greg Ritchie on 6, Shaun McDonald on 4, and these two are both on 2. So one of them is about to join Shaun McDonald on 4 to get their campaign off to a very good start. Matt Dennant is looking at double 18 and starts wonderfully well. Well, he's played the last 4 days. Is he hungry to have a perfect evening and to potentially punch his ticket to the finals? It might be enough, but it might not as well. I'm Paul the Asset Nicholson. Thanks for joining us. And tonight may be a little bit frantic because we have some fast players and we have some people who are desperate to make the final tomorrow night. We've had a really good time together, the darts fans and myself and the players and all of the organisers here at the Online Darts Live League. We have 2 more sessions for you, this one and the finals tomorrow. Available by the usual channels via streaming services with your favoured bookmaker or indeed via YouTube with Online Darts. Matt was telling me last night after the Group C action was done, he's just finding it difficult on a consistent basis to get his darts high enough, which is something that Jamie's struggling with in this visit.
60.
It's that spot that Matt Dennant has been hitting, just underneath. So over the last couple of hours, you wonder if he's been able to fix it. Even with a perfect night tonight and getting 8 points and posting 10,
100.
You wonder if that will be enough to give him one more day here at the Online Darts Live League.
58.
As for who's going to play next week, you'll have to find out tomorrow. I will be given the list and we'll read out the groups live on the air.
127.
147's possible, but no longer.
67, 78.
Jamie Clark looking to get a foothold in this game, and it would be with a break back on double 10.
34.
But the chance has slipped by, and Dennant has been given the extra visit to try and hold. As they always say, it's not a break unless you hold next. And that's what Dennant is looking to do. Has to throw this high. Oh, it wasn't far away. Two tens then.
Score.
Oh, and Jamie Clark is going to be having a right stiff word with himself about the last couple of visits. 5 missed starts to the double for Jamie, but no more for Matt Dennant, who dodges a bullet there, and he does get a 2-0 lead in his quest for a perfect evening to have a slim chance of getting through to the finals. Leg 3 coming up, and Jamie will throw first, and will hope that he doesn't have the same start to tonight's campaign that he had last night against Darren Beveridge,
140.
where he lost 4 legs to 1. Darren averaged 96 in that match.
93.
But over the course of last evening, there were some very interesting statistics from it. The best 180 hitter last night was Darren Beveridge with 7. Best checkout percentage for the night was from Greg Ritchie. He had
140.
overall for the entire night, which, yes, I have to clarify that, for the entire night, 57%. That is beyond world class. It does help that one of the games he didn't miss one double at all, which is the second time that's happened this week.
101.
Jamie Clark is again putting himself in position
57.
and maybe stumbling just a tiny bit to give Matt Dennant a bit of a sniff.
59.
Chance to get to a small number has been missed. Got to stay there for the bullseye.
65.
And all of the attempts at the outer ring and the centre button have all missed their target. A single 19 will leave 32.
92.
And that was Matt's chance to get to 3-0 to really make inroads with the leg difference as well. Chance missed. 25 taken out by Jamie Clark in 2. And he halves the deficit. It's 1-2 now. And Matt Dennant, who does need to do a lot of good work from here, still has the lead. Let's see what he can do in the next leg. Yes, with Darren Beveridge at the top of the table, that will remain the case into the next match, which is Darren against Shaun McDonald. But the leg difference currently is in favour of Darren on
100.
+7. Dennant and Jamie Clark on 2 points. They're both down towards -8 and -9 respectively. So if they are going to win tonight, they're going to have to win and win big.
$94.
If the likes of Beveridge and Greg Ritchie keep winning, it could be academic by the middle portion of tonight's session as to what the chances are for Matt and Jamie. Another strong scoring leg here. And Dennant, who is averaging 96 in this match, has
85.
missed tops for a 1-2-5 to add to his 1-2-1 that he got earlier.
$94.
Tops it is again as Jamie gets himself down to 2-dart range, and this time Matt Dennant, who has struggled on tops this week at times, does not struggle this time. Finds the mark with dart 1, 3-1 up in no time at all, and this is the exact kind of result that he required. A 4-1 victory here would get him on 4 points. And a leg difference of -5.
43.
Admittedly, he's 10 legs away in leg difference to the next person, but if he keeps winning and gets the points, that's what counts first.
140.
This is a good performance from Matt Dennant, the solitary English person in this field.
180.
Maximum for the first time in the match comes from JC. Initials which are very useful in the game. Think about the likes of Joe Cullen, Johnny Clayton. Two of the highest performers in the game right now.
100.
There's another one, of course. Jamie Caven, the 7-time PDC title winner.
97.
Being very impressed with the leaves after 9 darts in this match. And Jamie's given that dart on the floor a right old stare.
120.
To be fair to him, what a response it was. Maybe the third dart was too frightened to not hit the 60 after the glare he gave dart 2. Well, I hate to say it, Matt, but you've got to stay on the 60. If you don't get it with the second dart, he could have gone for the 10s, potentially. And he thought of a different route to do it. But it's tops. And Jamie Clark finds a 14 darter to get himself back within 1. His quest for wins against Matthew Dennant for the second time in a row. He's going to have to not only win that leg, which he has done, but get another 2. That is Matt Dennant's perfect first dart.
180.
And that is as good as he can throw at the treble 20. That's his first maximum.
96.
And when you're throwing for the match, there's not really much of a better time to find a maximum. Maybe when you're sitting on 220.
140.
But this is authoritative from the man with the low centre of gravity from Walsall.
121.
There'll be lots of people watching out for Matt tonight, including his dad and the local dart team, wishing him well.
7.
And regardless of what happens tonight, I wish him well for the future. I really, really like Matt. I think he's a credit to the game.
128.
124 to finish the job.
92.
Oh, that's interesting. He didn't use the 18s for the bull. He's banking on Jamie Clark not taking 156 out. Well, can I borrow your crystal ball, Matt? Because it worked. Now you just have to punctuate the performance. Double 16.
2.
And that is a 14 darter to finish things up. And a high quality performance there from Matt Dennant. Absolutely beautiful, really. The average is touching 98 as well, as I can see it. And that is the first 2 points of the night in quick style. So, it's down to Darren Beveridge and Shaun McDonald to try and fend off the challengers this evening. What is going to happen in that match? You'll have to stay and find out. Number 2 of the evening involves these two, and Darren Beveridge is wearing a very sinister looking shirt there with some mystical ice cubes on it. I'm digging that. 28-year-old from Edinburgh who had a very impressive night last night after his shootout with Shaun McDonald to see who would top last night's table. Shaun's been excellent all week and he's constantly been improving. But now with a bit of urgency about his place in the finals up for grabs. If he doesn't play well tonight, he's not going to be here tomorrow night. He's got 2 players in front of him in the table in Darren Beveridge and Greg Ritchie. They have 2 more points than him, and if Darren wins this match, he's in genuine trouble of not making the finals. In talking about last night, he had the best overall average over the 4 games they played. He had the best individual average in a match. He had the highest checkout of the night, but he finished 3rd.
60.
The most important statistic is that he only got 4 points. He lost his first match to Greg Ritchie. That one slipped away. He responded brilliantly against Matt Dennant with a 91 average and an 80% checkout rate in his second match, winning that one 4-1. He then beat Jamie Clark with another good performance, 4-0, which is why he's got a very healthy leg difference. But the loss to Darren Beveridge, in Game 4 yesterday evening on the touch of midnight, that was the one that cost him the opportunity of being top last night and being the person to catch.
180.
A forceful maximum there from Shaun, his first. Not his first of the week.
60.
That is in fact his 17th 180. But the person leading the 180 stats for the week, well, that's Matt Dennant. Shaun's got 17. Matt's got 30. .225 before this visit began, and he's done the right thing in using the board to cultivate a shot to get to a finish. And he is first there.
40.
And he has 6 from 170, so even if he gets the 260s, he doesn't have to go bull.
$97.
That last start treble just gets him into doable range. The kind of shot that you expect to take.
100.
It's a steady start from Darren, leaving 101 after 15. He will want to improve on that. And he will hope he'll get a shot at that 101 to try and nick this leg away. But it depends on Shaun's effort at tops.
53.
An effort that misses. And his throw is under threat if he doesn't take this.
49.
He'll need to improve on the way he's played in leg 1 if he's going to remain at the top of the table. But it's McDonald of Aberdeen at double 10. Doesn't have to move, so it must be a guide. And missed doubles at the start. May just cost him a valuable break of throw in this match. Double 16. And Darren Beveridge does survive that first leg. I don't think there's any way I can put it kinder, because the leg pretty much belonged to Shaun McDonald the whole time until that last start was delivered by Ice Cold. You will not have a better chance to break someone's throw at the start of a match than that. And from here, he's the one who's got to be ice cold
140.
and accurate. It was 4-3 to Darren in their head-to-head yesterday.
60.
And Darren will earmark being part of the top 2 at the end of tonight and playing against Kevin Burness, Martin Adams and Stephen Burton.
$85.
Darren, who yesterday had a very impressive running average for the night of just over 90.
140.
Best performance of the night, just a shade over 93. He was the best 180 hitter of the night, getting 7. It's very impressive considering how many Matt Dennant has been averaging per game. Had a high out of 104.
49.
But I think overall, considering the performances he had, I think him just shading the points table last night was about right.
140.
He came in with a bit of a reputation, and it was my first exposure to watching him play, and I was very impressed with him. I still am. I think there's a market in darts for an ice cold beverage.
$43.
We do have a lot of nicknames to do with the cold, though. We've got Iceman number 1, Iceman number 2. We've got Ice Cold Darren Beveridge, Frosty the Throwman. What is it about being cold?
59.
There's only one player that puts his darts in the fridge before he plays, and that's Stuart Kellett. Remember him? Yeah, Stuart Kellett. Fabulous guy. Great player as well. One of the most genuine lads I've been around in my career, and I genuinely miss spending time with him.
46.
Shaun is letting this match slip in its early stages. And the 17 leaves tops. And Darren is not having to produce his A game here. At which point do we say about Shaun that playing 5 days in a row, is he starting to feel a little bit tired? I wouldn't blame him if he was.
58.
Darren Beveridge is only playing his 2nd day, so he'll feel a lot fresher. Tops to double the lead.
$20.
That was a bit scrappy. Is it Shaun's turn to survive on his own throw? It's taking a bit more time just to feel at ease with this checkout. And he will only get 1 at tops. None from 4 so far.
40.
And make that none from 5. Not missing by much. But this is a game of millimetres. Well, that is a lovely deflection. In off the post. And Darren Beveridge in this under par match for these two. It really is very, very tight. But it's 2-0 to Darren Beveridge. And he's halfway to victory here. The averages are in the low 70s. Very different to what we saw in the first match,
85.
where Matt Dennant averaged 96.3. A very, very good performance. He also had 44% on doubles. Jamie Clark averaged 87, which was a decent effort considering last night his running average was 84.
1, 2, 3.
So with this foundation in the match, you would fancy that Darren Beveridge has got something to shoot for. A little bit of improvement,
140.
just like he's doing so far. And he may have Shaun exactly where he wants him. Well, tonight, because of the Scottish feel, I'm going to pose a question to everybody tuning in. I just want to get a feel for what you guys think about something. And please feel free to get in touch with me on Twitter at the Asset180. So I'm going to ask you a question.
1
of all of the Scottish players that have represented Scotland at BDO level and at, say, home internationals or World Cup or Europe Cup, what would make the best ever Scotland 4-man team? Now, before anybody puts Peter Wright in that bracket, when he was playing in the BDO, he represented England. So, Peter Wright does not qualify for this question.
50.
He has represented Scotland at PDC level. And just to get you rolling, I've got my first 3 of the 4, which is Gary Anderson, Jockey Wilson, and Mike Veach. I will fill the gap at the end of it with someone else in due course. But let's look at the 154 for Shaun McDonald first. Oh, you beauty. He had a 152 last night. He has just gazumped that with a 154, and I make that the best finish of the week. So no better time like the present to get the biggest finish to get yourself into this match. Yeah, so get in touch. Let me know the best 4-man team for Scotland at amateur level. You could choose all sorts of talents. You could choose Hendo. You could choose Robert Thornton, who is probably going to make my team, to be honest. I don't know why I haven't written that down. I'm going to choose Robert Thornton.
91.
You could have Peter Johnston. Derek Cunningham. You could have Ewan Hislop. You could have all sorts of different talents. But you give me your best 4-man team for Scotland and get in touch with me on Twitter and let me know, because tonight is about the Scottish and Matt Dennant, of course. Just want to pay homage to the Scottish players tonight of yesteryear because
58.
they deserve a mention. So there's my 4. Anderson, Jockey Wilson, Veach and Thornton. As for this match,
84.
it's still sort of in control by Darren Beveridge. This has been an under par performance by a good 15%, I would say.
60.
He's not giving a great deal of frustration away, which I think is an incredibly good attribute for a future professional. I'm already getting tweets about the Scottish 4-man teams, and I'll give people a mention in the next match when Matt Dennant takes on Greg Ritchie, who plays his first game of the night. But if Shaun McDonald gets back into this match and does eventually take the 2 points away from Darren, he will join Greg Ritchie and Beveridge on 6 points, and all sorts of possibilities could happen for the top 2 by the end of the 10 matches tonight. Had to go downstairs with that last dart, and that treble guarantees a treble single bull combination for leg 4. Is this a much needed 180?
180.
He's wondering where they've been, because that's his first. It's never really a bad time to hit a 180. But boy, oh boy, that has just made this a lot harder. Couldn't find the 57 from the angle. And Beveridge has hit a pulverising maximum to leave a somewhat simple checkout to retake the 2-leg advantage. Double 16.
36.
Just a bit ragged, a bit inconsistent this evening, and he's wrestling with the few semi-dodgy darts. he will consider himself incredibly lucky to come back if Shaun misses tops. And he does come back.
20 worst.
I think maybe both of these players recognise how important this game is, this fixture as well. Double 8 is there, and it's 3-1 to Darren Beveridge, and he's not having to play his best darts. He's getting a tiny bit fortunate to get these extra opportunities. You've got to give him a lot of credit. He's taking the opportunities he's been given. Now throwing for a 4-1 victory to severely dent the chances for Shaun McDonald to get through to the finals via the top two in this table.
91.
If Beveridge gets to 8 points with a win here and wins 4-1 potentially, his leg difference will swell to plus 10 and he will open up a 4-point gap between himself and Shaun McDonald.
96.
The only person in striking distance to him will be Greg Ritchie, who plays next.
$140. $96. $100.
This is a steadier leg, leaving the finish after 9. That's a good marker to see where your leg is at. A lot of players at this level would say 161 after 9. I'll take that. And you'll definitely take 170 after 9.
99.
Shaun would have taken 170, but he's come up 40 short. And Darren has got the 170 for the match.
98.
It's in his control. Excellent visit to pressurise the 72, but still, it's up to this man to finish the job. Should get his first match start and does. And it's the only one he requires. That's a huge blow to Shaun McDonald's chances of making the finals. He's going to have to win perfect stuff from here, you feel. 3 from 3, but because he has lost, he is up against the wall. Darren Beveridge at the top of the table on his own on 8 points. The person behind him by 2 points, Greg Ritchie, will now make his first appearance of the evening against Matt Dennant, who won in Game 1. And welcome to game number 3 as we welcome Greg Ritchie to tonight's fold. He will begin his campaign here and will finish his campaign in game 9. So his cluster of matches are all quite close together. He knows that if he wants to keep pace with Darren Beveridge, a win against Matt Dennant here would come in very, very handy indeed. We know that Dennant on 4 points may have to be close to perfect this evening if he wants to make the top 2. But that win against Jamie Clark by 4 legs to 2 in match 1 definitely helped his cause. I'm fully intent on having an absolute blast with the rest of this group because last night, I'm not joking, I loved it. I loved the Scottish injection of these new talents that I've not seen before.
60.
Big fan of Greg Ritchie. I thought last night he was outstanding. Especially when he played against Jamie Clark. Having a flawless performance on doubles. 4 from 4. And when you look at the way he performed overall last night.
100.
To have a checkered percentage for the night over 4 matches at 57%.
55.
Just think about that for a second. That is well over half of his doubles hit. Quite astonishing.
96.
I think we may have unearthed a bit of a talent here. And Greg Ritchie, of course, who wanted to play at Q School, but didn't because he tested positive for COVID-19. I think the PDC Tour is maybe a little bit poorer for not having him, and we're richer for having him here. Dennant looking for an early advantage. And he got a ton plus check out of 121 to start the night. He's got 68 left, and the treble 12 is begging to be hit here, Matt. Or even the treble 16. Lots of options.
58.
Hang about. Double 10. Oh, what a shot from Greg Ritchie. What a finisher this young lad is. He might be 26. I tell you what, he's playing like a veteran. That's Gary Anderson-esque with that 140 out to start with a 1-0 lead. That really stings Matt Dennant. I have to ask a really logical question as he starts with a maximum in leg 2. Why have I not heard about this lad before? Where has he been?
So,
Big fan of this. Love seeing new talent come through. Really compact action.
85.
He's got a good dart shirt as well. Always a good sign. And can you believe someone's got the audacity to say to me on Twitter that I talk too much? Well, here's the answer to that. There's the mute button. If you don't like what I say, as long as you're watching, that's the main thing. Moving swiftly on.
140.
Lots of responses in relation to tonight's topic, which is the greatest 4-man team of your opinion in Scottish BDO history. Lots of love for Gary Anderson and, of course, Jockey Wilson. We'll get into that more as we look at Greg Ritchie looking to double his lead in no time at all.
56.
He's leaving tops after 12. And this so far has been
140.
nothing short of blistering. Tops. And he's at it again. Just doesn't miss doubles when he plays well. 2-0 up, no time at all, halfway to victory, and Matt Dennant has got a real thorn in his side in Greg Ritchie. You will remember that Greg beat him 4-0 yesterday. He doesn't want to have to go back to Walsall either in the morning or on Sunday morning and say to people in the West Midlands I got gubbed
140.
by this little fella from Scotland who I've never heard of before. I guarantee you, people know about him now. I know I do.
59.
When I report for duty with the PDC crew in a couple of weeks, I'll be telling them all about this lad, I assure you.
135.
Yeah, lots of love for Gary Anderson and Jockey Wilson in relation to the four-man team argument. Seen George Dalgleish mentioned. Great shout. Former Torremolinos Open champion, of course. Mike Veach, part of my team. Alan Suter, fantastic shout. Great captain.
56.
Hendo, of course. Goes without saying. Les Wallace. Rab Smith mentioned. Great shout. Largely forgotten about. If I have this argument in maybe 15 years,
60.
the way that this lad has played the last couple of nights, we might be talking about Greg Ritchie in the same sort of vein. Dave Connell's been in touch again tonight, saying best of luck to Matt Dennant. Well, it's not going his way so far. Greg Ritchie has a shot at double 18 and hasn't missed again. How good is he on doubles? One of the performances of the night so far, maybe the best performance so far. The average is over 104. The doubles are pristine. Matt Dennant is puffing his cheeks out as if to say, I am wounded. No matter where I leave myself, if he's on a finish, he's taking it out.
100.
Extraordinary accuracy on the outer ring.
Yes. 26.
When your opponent is doing this to you, you do feel a physical pain in your chest. It's one of feeling like you're winded. Not playing poorly, Matt Dennant, who averaged 96 in his first game. Here he's averaging 93. But this guy seems like he's got his darts on a string.
40.
Well, for the first time in this match, it seems like he's faltered there. Bit of bad fortune.
60.
First sign of tactical weakness, and a second sign of bad fortune as a second dart is on the floor. He does push the darts. He doesn't throw them like Matt does. This is a definitive throwing of the dart.
90.
Look at Greg Ritchie's style. He pushes them through the air. It's a placement of the arm through the air. It's actually a really graceful style.
56.
I tell you what, if Greg takes this 170 out for another perfect performance on doubles, I think we might as well just blow the final whistle. I was half expecting that second 60 to go in, and I'm really disappointed he didn't get a shot at it. He's forcing Matt Dennant to take this really difficult out just to stay in the match. It's looking likely that he's not going to get in one leg out of Greg Ritchie in 8 attempts. He's missed the single, but he has not missed a double again. Unbelievable stuff from Greg Ritchie. The second time in 24 hours he's had a perfect performance on doubles. He has a strength all right, and it's called the outer ring on the dartboard, and he is definitely in with a shout of making the finals now with a 4-0 victory over Matt Dennant. Breathless stuff as we go into match 4, Shaun McDonald against Jamie Clark. Welcome back, and we're now going into game 4 of tonight's action with Group C. And the scenarios for people's chances to get through to the finals tomorrow are starting to become very clear, because the two people at the top of the table from yesterday's action have started with a victory. We now have a little bit of separation between the top 2 spots and spots 3 and 4. Jamie Clark is rooted to the bottom of the table, but can, with a victory here over Shaun McDonald, find his way onto 4 points, the same as Shaun and Matt Dennant. You feel that Matt Dennant's race is run now with 2 matches remaining. He can only get to the point where Darren Beveridge and Greg Ritchie already are, and his leg difference is vastly different. With very few matches to go, Dennant has run out of games. Even with 3 matches remaining, Jamie Clark can only get to 8 points, and his leg difference is worse than Matt's. So you get the feeling that Beveridge and Ritchie are making their bed for tomorrow night, unless Shaun McDonald can get 3 big victories. Firstly this one, then he needs to beat Matt Dennant, then he needs to beat Greg Ritchie, and he's going to need some help from the likes of Jamie Clark and possibly Matt Dennant against Darren Beveridge at 11:30 local time. If he doesn't get that help, that could be it for the week for Shaun. Regardless of what happens, he's had a very good week. Andy McCardle's been in touch in relation to tonight's topic of who would be your favourite Scottish 4-man team, and Andy's is a belter. It's really good. He's gone for Ross Montgomery,
100.
Ronnie Sharp, Peter Johnston and Harry Todman. I mean, that is a proper hipster 4. Peter Johnston, who is sadly no longer with us, fabulous dart player. We know Ross Montgomery's talent. Harry Todman, great name. And Ronnie Sharp, the best moustache in sport.
140.
Jamie started really, really well here. Shaun would admit that he did not play well in his first game. And he handed way too many opportunities to someone who he really needed to defeat. And Jamie, looking at double 18, finds it with his 14th dart of the leg and compounds the pain that Shaun is currently under, and the pressure is starting to mount. If he loses this match, it could be curtains. And it probably will be. Only averaged 84 in that match against Darren Beveridge, did Shaun McDonald. And that's down on what he's been doing the rest of the week. For the entire week, Shaun's been averaging 88 over the 20 games he's played. He's got 17 maximums for the week so far. A high out of 154. He's also had a 152.
60.
But we've seen in other weeks that some players have had very good group phases, but ultimately they have not won the weekly title. And that is what people will remember. That is another 180, his 18th of the week. And maybe he's starting to get some stuff together.
60.
James has got in touch on social media saying that Mike Veach was a very good player. I completely agree with you. Not only was Mike Veach a very, very good player, he was a good golfer. And he was also one of the luckiest dart players I've ever met because he won the lottery. I don't know whether anybody knows that. I remember Mervyn King telling me that. He won a fair sum of money and that was the end of his career. He played darts for a hobby for a little while and just retired.
60.
That's what I was reliably told. I hope that's the truth. Spend his days playing darts and playing golf. I can't think of anything better. Double top for Shaun McDonald for an 11 darter.
Game of 3.
Finds that lovely looking double 10 and rescues the situation somewhat. He's got something to build on now. That's his best leg of the night so far. A really good 12 darter, and he's going to need a lot more of that for the rest of the evening if he's going to find himself in the top 2. One of our regular viewers is, of course, the reigning and defending World Master, John O'Shea. How are you, John? Nice to have you with us. One of the people that has been tweeting all the time and has been viewing every day. He made a very good point to me earlier, did John O'Shea. He's very much aware that darts will have tournaments back in 2021. And the World Master does his homework, you see, because he wants to see players in this tournament and how they're playing. He wants to see the form. Not just a hat rack, are you, John? You're a smart cookie.
59.
Someone has said on Twitter that Shaun McDonald looks like my evil twin. I don't know whether that's a compliment or not. I've had comparisons to the likes of Damon Heta in the past, which that is a compliment because I am a huge admirer of Damo's. I think he's a genuinely world-class darter. I didn't expect to hear that tonight, that's for sure. I'll take it as a compliment. But Jamie Clark is looking to borderline insult Shaun's position and has done with that maximum. Correctly on 299. Shaun goes south and he might stay there. He's got 114. Leaves 185. So, yep, he's going to have to move. Oh, that is an absolutely destructive approach. As far as approach shots from that area of a scorecard, that's as good as you will ever see. And it made absolutely no difference to the leg. I mean, that is just a sensational 6 darts that we've just seen. Jamie Clark, who has been at the foot of the table the entire time over the last 25 hours, is now playing well and 2-1 up. No matter what Shaun does tonight, it just isn't working. A phenomenal 164 approach for a 135, and he doesn't even get a look at the finish.
44.
Ma Bold has got on social media saying that their top 4 is Jockey Wilson, Les Wallace, Gary Anderson and Greg Ritchie. Well, fair play.
40.
Greg, what a compliment. In with the champs there.
140.
I think that may be one of Greg's mates. Wouldn't be surprised. Also had an interesting tweet from Lee Seymour about his nickname. I'm not even sure I can mention it.
96.
Maybe we'll leave it for an hour later in the coverage. It's the tiniest bit risky.
140.
He's talking about his nickname. He's had it for 27 years, apparently. Which, given the time frame of it, it's about right. But he wants to know whether his nickname would be good for TV. I think it would be good, but I'm not sure it would be allowed.
57.
And no matter what Shaun does, Jamie Clark has had the answers in this one. And he's in danger of being cut adrift. The matches that Shaun has left after this is a game against Matt Dennant, so he can't deny Darren Beveridge any more points. But he can deny Greg Ritchie points.
96.
It may come down to that based on what Greg does from here. And he plays next against Darren Beveridge. So one of them is going to get to 10 points. Not good news for Shaun. And look at this from Jamie Clark. A 1-1-7. And he's 3-1 up. Playing arguably his best game of the group so far. To the chagrin of Shaun McDonald. 3-1 Jamie Clark. You can see from the expression of Shaun, who I somewhat comically coined the Punisher earlier in the week. Apparently he's been getting a bit of stick for that. Don't know why, it's a cracking nickname.
180.
Nice respect paid there by Jamie for that maximum start. But Jamie is playing superbly
70
in this match, averaging 95. Shaun is also averaging 95, but is in serious, serious trouble. Look at the expression of Jamie in the background. He was 4 perfect, and then he winces at dart 5 missing. He was hoping for Shaun to have a shot at the 9. We didn't get one in the Premier League tonight,
43.
from what I saw. So only the 2 with Johnny Clayton and Jose de Souza. The night is yet young, though, everybody. We could get one tonight. Could we? Could someone get one like alongside James Richardson from last Monday? I wouldn't be shocked. Especially the way that Greg Ritchie's finishing. Oh, and that's 60 on the floor. Or potentially a collision off something that was already in the 60. Looks academic, this leg. Just get the easy setup and then come back and get it. Or you could just take care of it now. And that's what he does. That's a beautifully crafted 12 darter from Shaun McDonald. His average improves to around the 98 mark, but he is still 3-2 behind and needs to be perfect from here if he wants to get 2 points. Never underestimate the possibility. As Jamie Clark just waits, everything can be heard in this room. Even the smallest adjustments like that could take you out of your little zone. So I think stepping back there was a very intelligent thing to do. Don't underestimate the fact that Shaun could win this match 4-3 and get himself to 6 points, 2 behind Beveridge and Ritchie. I'm just in my own mind thinking about the best possible scenario for McDonald from here. Because he can take points away from Greg, it's probably better for him that Beveridge wins the next match. So he keeps Greg Ritchie closer.
59.
We will see what happens in match 5 coming up.
Wow.
46.
Doesn't like that. That was an ironic wow. And Jamie Clark is not looking to give any sympathy whatsoever. He just tons down and compounds the misery. Billy Sutty's got in touch about the four-man team thing, saying Danny Cunningham Jr. I've heard that name tonight from another party as well. And Maurice has got in touch saying that
45.
their 8-year-old son Georgie, who's loving the darts, is a big Greg Ritchie fan. Well, get in line. Georgie, you've got good taste
100.
because Greg Ritchie, he's a player. And you might have to watch him tomorrow night as well against the likes of Martin Adams, Kevin Burness and Stephen Burton. Because if Shaun is defeated here
40.
and Greg Ritchie wins the next match, he could have one hand on the top spot for Group C. Jamie Clark has got himself 67 points left by the looks of it.
96.
He's left himself on 50 to win his second match of the group. He beat Matt Dennant in the final game of last night. He lost to Dennant in his first match today. But this has been his best performance.
$100.
And he'll feel very good about this performance if he gets rid of this pronto. Or as they say in Scotland, the new! And that's what he does. It's gone. Shaun McDonald's chances of getting through this group are withering by the second as we find out if Greg Ritchie or Darren Beveridge will go to the top of the table on their own on points because they are about to go head-to-head next. number 5 of this second evening of Group C action. This is a very, very big game for these two. Whoever wins this will be in the finals. Darren Beveridge and Greg Ritchie both involved at the top of the table and obviously know each other very well. Are we seeing the next phase of Scottish darts before our very eyes? I really think we might be. I am mega impressed with both of these guys over the last 25 to 26 hours. I was really looking forward to watching them. And I think there's going to be a lot of Greg Ritchie fans by the end of this week. If you don't tell your friends about Greg Ritchie and Darren Beveridge, well, you're doing them a disservice because they're excellent to watch. They're fast, they're accurate, they're exciting.
1-2-1.
Yesterday when they met, they rattled through 4 legs in no time whatsoever. And it was a 4-0 win for Darren Beveridge. A really good performance with a 92 average and 60% on doubles. But so far this evening, Greg has not missed a double. And he hasn't missed a treble there. This one has got potential.
140.
Both on a finish. A very small one at that after 9. Tops. Terrific. 12 darter from Greg Ritchie. Only playing his second match of the evening. The same as Darren Beveridge. They've got 2 games after this. And whoever wins it, I think they deserve to be in the finals. It could well be them both. And the likelihood is it's going to be. If this is a close game,
100.
I haven't done the exact sums because I don't think I need to yet. But if this is a close game, say a 4-3, and their very, very big leg difference advantage over the rest of the field is intact, then it'll probably be mathematically impossible for anybody to catch them with 2 matches remaining for everyone.
100.
Matthew Dennant and Shaun McDonald will go face to face next. And whoever loses that match is mathematically out. You think Matt Dennant's already out because of his leg difference.
180.
And that is a 180 for Beveridge. That is his second. Oh, how good is that?
2-5.
That's one way to leave a finish from 268. I don't think I've ever seen that before.
57.
Quick thinking. Really exciting to watch darts here at the Online Darts Live League. And he's going for different parts of the board. He is making the spotter's life an absolute nightmare. 16 for tops. Darren Beveridge will be level. And he is level. Look at that. Right in the middle of the red bit at the top of the board. This one is level after 2. And Greg Ritchie's got his first leg against Darren Beveridge. But Darren Beveridge has got himself back in the match. The averages in this match so far, admittedly 2 legs in, are very attractive. They're both on 114.
100.
Now, the average record for the Online Darts Live League was broken in the first week by Jason Askew. That is 118. He hit that against Aaron Monk. I just get the feeling that these two are very comfortable playing against each other. I could watch them go at it all night.
100.
Seen a lovely picture on social media during the break between the last game in this one where the Matty Dennant fan club posted a picture of watching the online Darts Live League with drinks in their hands and their darts cards in their hands as well. It's really nice to see that. I hope everybody's having a very safe and pleasant Friday evening, or indeed if you're watching from around the world, a pleasant middle of the night, morning, afternoon, wherever you are.
$140.
Greg's already had a couple of big checkouts today in that 100% doubling performance against Matt Dennant. He took out 140 and 110. And Beveridge has got a chance to hit that very checkout himself. And he hits it the exact same way to take a 2-1 lead. Ice Cold has definitely warmed up, because even though he won his first game, he was a little bit tepid. But this time, he's looking a little bit hotter. So Ice Cold takes the lead at 2-1.
$60.
I'm trying to think of the right word that describes Beveridge. I haven't quite come up with it yet.
180.
I think the right word for Greg is exciting. Just a tiny bundle of brilliance.
100.
I think there was a word I used to describe Darren last night, which was unit. You wouldn't be able to place in a line out or, a really thick set centre at Murrayfield. But he delivers those darts with such a smooth action. It looks really solid. The potential is right there.
40.
I mean, technically Greg Ritchie is not as good as Beveridge from a fundamental perspective, but we've already talked about this week that some of the greatest talents in the game
100.
and its history have had unconventional skills.
$100.
120 away from a 3-1 lead and to be within one leg of the finals.
100.
Using a white moulded flight. He's got the bells and whistles on the old dart shirt, but the darts are somewhat understated. 127 for Greg Ritchie, 88. Oh, wasn't far off. That was a fine attempt. He hasn't missed many doubles tonight. And Beveridge has thrown an absolute beauty there, because the first two weren't that close, and the second one may have just obscured that double 10 just a little bit. He's found it. He's 3-1 up on a very dangerous Greg Ritchie, and he's very close to the finals now. The one thing I really admire about that throw, though, of Ritchie is the extension of that follow through is so deliberate. Nothing's going to fall short.
125.
Just look at it here on our split cam. When the arm comes through, it goes all the way forward and it goes upwards as well. That is a really good technique. And I know he leans over on dart 3, but when you're playing well, it's not a fault.
140.
With Darren Beveridge's build, I think his darts are just scared to miss. They leave his hand and they say, "Yes, sir. I'll go wherever you tell me, sir."
$93.
Great double switch there to leave himself on a match-winning finish if Greg doesn't take the Della. Things are getting a little bit desperate in this game for Greg. And he knew what he needed immediately. Didn't even have to think about it. That's a beautiful layup. And it's been a special game up to this point. Will it continue with double-double? Oh, yeah! We love to see that. And I'll tell you why I want this game to continue. Because it's properly mint. Well, that's a bit of the Northumbrian coming out of me. But it is that good. Both averaging over 100. (3-2) to Beveridge, sitting on double 18 for the match, and you get that double out. Absolutely sublime from this wee man.
140.
If we're going to have these two fellas in the finals tomorrow, with Burness, with Burton, with Wolfie, tell me how can you possibly miss that tomorrow night? You have no excuse.
180.
You can watch it on your smartphone, your tablet, your smart TV. You can take it on the go with you. Don't miss it. We could be in for some
1-2.
obliterating stuff. And this game isn't even over yet. Because Ritchie's putting in a stint in leg 6.
140.
Looks like we're going all the way.
Maintenance.
He's done really well to leave a finish after 12. But he's languished. Double top.
1.
And has missed 2 darts at double. Could be the first time tonight that he's done that. He does get 3 more
55.
to take us all the way. Double 10.
Even 3.
And he's found it. 3-3. And the two at the top of the table are tussling. Now, Greg Ritchie is on the comeback trail. Can he win 3 straight to nick the 2 points away from Darren Beveridge? This is fast becoming the game of the week. There have been performances that have maybe outshone this game.
57.
But the more I think about it, have there? We've seen a 104 from Wolfie. We've seen a 102 from Wolfie.
44.
We've seen big finishes. We've seen lots of 180s from Matt Dennant. We've seen great recovery skills from the likes of Bradley Kirk. But this is a sign that these two can play. Both around the 100 average.
100.
Both doubling really well. And both vying for 2 points that will seal their ticket to the finals. A
180.
key maximum from Greg Ritchie. He's guaranteed 6 darts to finish the job.
97.
This is an absolutely catastrophic scenario for Shaun McDonald.
124.
Tops left after 12
60.
at 3-3 on the throw, guarding his throw like a pro. 15th dart
20.
doesn't get there. And I think it doesn't get there because the lie flattened out after the deflection.
60.
Darren has not played bad. Greg has just played a little bit better. But he has got the match in the bag as well. What a brilliant game that was from start to finish. Can we just press the rewind button and relive that again? Because that was the game of the week 4-3 to Greg Ritchie, and he gets his 4th point of the night. He's through to the finals, and I can't wait to watch him, but there's more to come tonight as we look for Matt Dennant and Shaun McDonald in game number 6. Welcome back to tonight's Group C action, and we have just been treated to a wonderful match between Greg Ritchie and Darren Beveridge. Final average for Greg Ritchie 99.3, Darren Beveridge 95.7, but they were above the 100 mark for most of that match. It was absolutely terrific. I have been reliably informed that they play in the same pub team. No wonder they're comfortable playing against each other. Harry Ogle's got in touch and just said that the double-double 96 out from Greg Ritchie was special. Oh, yes, it was. Oh, yes. Well, Greg Ritchie is in the final for tomorrow. He can't be caught by anybody outside of the top 2 as it currently stands. As far as Darren Beveridge is concerned, he's on 8 points and +9, and he can still be caught by Shaun McDonald.
60.
The problem that Matt Dennant has on the same points as his opponent here is that his leg difference is just way too far away. He can't bridge the gap. He doesn't have enough games in hand. So he's not going to get there. Even if he wins 4-0, 4-0,
100.
he can only get to -2. And if Darren Beveridge loses 4-0, 4-0, he will only go down to +1. So
5.
we've had Matt Dennant all week long, and it's been a complete and utter privilege to see him butcher that treble 20 better than anybody else. So the pressure's off him now. He can play this game and his last game of the week against Darren Beveridge,
140.
and then he will be on his way back to Walsall. Shaun McDonald needs a win in this match against Matt if he stands any hope. And he needs that win to be a very wide one, to have a better chance. Simple equation is, if Shaun loses,
94.
our 2 finalists will be Greg Ritchie and Darren Beveridge. Job done, with 4 matches to go. And then we will turn our attention to the daily table, which currently sees Greg Ritchie at the top with 4 points and 3 other players on 2. And the only person currently without a point is Shaun.
93.
Steady leg here from Shaun McDonald. 74 left after 12. And you wonder if Matt knows that his race is run this week. Shaun's isn't. Not yet.
16 left.
And he was eyeing up that double 16 like he knew that. Lots of love for Greg Ritchie on social media. And why not? Played very well over the last day and a bit. Double 8 for Shaun.
Give him 2.
Great shot. That's a 17 darter for Shaun McDonald to start his campaign for potentially trying to eke his way into the finals himself. It's a long shot, but that is the first step on that road. By the end of tonight, Shaun McDonald will have played, like Matt Dennant, 23 matches this week. Now that's what you call the best kind of practice. Playing against people of a similar ability, or potentially better of course. And seeing where your game is at. And Shaun would say that his game's in pretty good shape. Judging by some of the conversations I've had with him this week, I think he's looking to improve even more still. Same goes for Matt, of course. I'd love to have the opportunity to spend a bit more time with Matt and just
81.
get to know him. He seems like such an affable fella. I don't know anybody who has a word to say against him. I know they're both really looking forward to Challenge to Action being back, whenever that may be.
98.
Never know, we might invite them back for another week of this. I'll keep you in suspense for now.
180.
But there's another maximum for Matthew Dennant. He has been the king of that stat this week. The two biggest finishes of the week have come from this man right here, a 152 and a 154.
7.
154 coming earlier against Darren Beveridge in a 4-1 loss. Matt Dennant for tops.
84.
Just underneath. Could have been an 11 darter. Could have been a 12. Could be the leg lost. Double 16 for a 15 darter.
Give him 3.
Yeah, the leg has been lost. And that's pretty typical of Matt's week. Had an excellent leg there with a 180 in it. 2 missed darts at tops, which has plagued him a little bit this week. And the 110 out. The second we've seen tonight sees Shaun McDonald go 2-0 up. Well, the Matty Dennant fan club watching on from Walsall, don't get too disheartened. He has done himself a massive amount of credit this week. He did, of course, get a taste for it late last week. Picked up a few wins against the likes of Fallon Sherrick and Corinne Hammond. He did get a win against James Richardson as well. But he has pressed on this week, getting more wins
96.
and more competitive action to ready himself for future challenges. He just needs to keep this up. So far he's played 21 games this week and has won
58.
10. So almost a 50% hit rate.
So,
Before the night began, his doubles percentage was around about 30%, which is competent, but I think someone of Matt's talent will be seeking to get maybe another 10% on that. You look at some of the other players that have played the rest of the week and they're a little bit higher than that. The likes of
51.
Greg Ritchie especially. going into the finals tomorrow, I'll be fascinated to see where his doubles percentage is at, because it has been ridiculous this evening.
$140.
The scores are pretty much level after 12 in this third leg. That leaves 70. You'll have to go to treble 10 now, because that is a blocker for a second treble 18. And he doesn't want to go treble 10.
124.
That's lovely. I love that thinking. That is showmanship of the highest order. I was just going to say that treble 14 was an option, but bull to leave double 10? I am so on board with that. No way. Matt Dennant is thinking, you can't be serious, pal. I would say it'd be daylight robbery, but it's the middle of the night. Oh, what a great attempt from Shaun. Matt Dennant will be thinking, that's just naughty. That's just brilliant. Bull to leave double 10. I am very much a fan of that. Using the board, especially when you know you can't qualify. So let's see what you got, Matt. What else you got up your sleeve? What an amazing attempt that was on the 146 as well from Shaun. That would have been consecutive legs with a ton plus out. Matt's face when he realised that the two treble 19s were in was a picture. Don't tell me that darts isn't a soap opera.
57.
I was only trying to articulate how I would have felt in that moment for Matt. I bet he had that feeling in his gut of, oh, you're kidding. It's probably how Jamie Caven felt when Simon Whitlock hit that exact same checkout in one of the biggest comebacks in PDC history. The two treble 19s and double 16 in the European Championship back in 2013.
54.
Widely regarded as the best comeback in match play style darts history.
$140.
Shaun's in command of leg 4.
Tom.
I won't let you know what the averages are and the percentages, but unfortunately my stat screen is on the fritz, so I apologise about that. But like I've been harping on about it all week, averages lie anyway. I don't want to tell lies to you guys, you don't deserve that. Just stick to the screen that you can see. Stick to the facts. And the fact of the matter is, this is going to be a 180 for Matt.
140.
I lined it up for him. Biggest 180 hitter of the week. Double top for Shaun McDonald.
65.
And he now has to hope that Matt doesn't get two trebles to leave a double. Double 15. Touché! Shaun McDonald. Whatever you can do, I can do even more. So there's a 150 out, and that's his biggest checkout of this entire week. And it is 2-2 in this one. The excitement just keeps coming. Just when you think it's going to be 3-1, it's academic, it's elementary. Oh no, Matt's got other ideas. What a session of darts we have had tonight. I know we're only 5.5 games into it, but this has been the most exciting session of the week so far. I've got plenty more for you to come.
Tom.
The Premier League is over for the week. So 5 nights of that have been completed. That story will continue in a few days' time. The story for this continues over the next hour or so.
86.
And then we will go into Saturday night and Sunday morning. I'm sure
92.
the Matty Dennant fan club really liked that 150 checkout. It was a spectacular shot. And he's taken the impetus in this 5th leg as well. When they played yesterday, Shaun won 4 legs to 1.
100.
The 1 leg that Matty Dennant did get in that match against Shaun yesterday, he took in 1 dart. So a 100% checkout rate against Shaun yesterday. It was not enough. But it was Shaun's best performance of the night, admittedly. Average 91, 80% on doubles himself.
180.
And there is another maximum for Shaun to leave himself on 32. But if Matt misses 92. Okay, bullseye from the right-hand side.
67.
I tell you what an effort that was. To retake the lead at 3-2. To keep his slim hopes alive. Double 8.
Game in 3.
Finds it. 3-2 up now. And he has to win this match, remember. And he's going to win it by a fine margin. He's not going to swamp Matthew Dennant with a 4-0, a 4-1. He might get himself a 4-2 though. And his slim hopes are still there. In order for him to snag that 2nd spot, he needs to get the points here. And then he needs Darren Beveridge
96.
to be done by Matt Dennant. So Matty Dennant right now is not only Shaun's opponent, but he is Shaun's best friend.
96.
He needs to beat him. Then he needs Matt to turn up against Beveridge and possibly bagel him. Sounds like a good Friday night, that, doesn't it? A beverage and a bagel.
57.
If you are having a beverage and a bagel, please let me know on Twitter.
140.
A nice message from the Matty Dennant fan club saying that they believe that Matt Dennant is a great lad and a better thrower than he has shown this week.
96.
I think he's a fantastic player. He will definitely benefit from this experience. Everybody needs games, competitive games, right now. And this vehicle for people has been greatly received. Stephen Pemberton has been in touch on Twitter and he said that Shaun McDonald has reminded him of someone all week long and he's just figured out who it is. It's actually a really good shout.
140.
Said he reminds me of a mini Russell Crowe from Gladiator. Not that dissimilar. Matt Dennant needs a 180 leave double 14. Oh, and that is a forceful dart from the scholar. Can Shaun McDonald close him out with another ton plus out? Double 16.
80.
Big chance missed. And it could come down to 1 leg at the end of the day. Double 14. And Matthew Dennant finds it in 2. And if Shaun McDonald is going to win this match, he's going to win it by the finest of margins, not what he required. Let's face it, if he doesn't win this match, that's it. Darren Beveridge is through. So this is it for Shaun McDonald. He has one match after this and one leg left in this
45.
match to try and keep it going. Because this game is so close, he is going to need Darren Beveridge to lose 2 games 4-0.
58.
$59.
Just looking at my rules book here in relation to the leg difference and of course the head-to-head records as well. Shaun McDonald lost to Darren Beveridge today and he lost to him yesterday, so the head-to-head record is Darren Beveridge's.
100.
And by virtue of the leg difference as it stands, the lowest that he can get is +1. The best that Shaun can get is +1
Done.
after this. So it's getting so tight. He needs to better him in leg difference. He can't rely on the head-to-head because he has lost to Darren twice. Shaun's last game is against Greg Ritchie, who's already through. He might have to beat him by the biggest margin possible.
54.
$81.
That one wasn't a good one. McDonald has got the darts away from the scholar. How well can he use them? Pinpoint. And he smartly leaves a finish he's already taken in this match. Terrific visit from Matty Dennant. But one match start has been missed to win 4-2. Will he get another? Will he go for that 60 again? I think that was the right option.
58.
But can the scholar break the Punisher's heart by getting 2 double tops? Not to be.
51.
And Shaun is eyeing up 2 more match darts to win this one again against an opponent he's had success against this week. Last chance.
Game 3.
Last chance taken. It's still alive, but only just. And Shaun McDonald wins 4 legs to 3. Matthew Dennant is out, of course, mathematically, but he will have one more game later on, which might have a say as to where we go. We'll come on to that in a little bit. But first, it's Greg Ritchie returning against Jamie Clark. back to game number 7 of Group C action for this Friday evening. Friday in the UK anyway, because we do have viewers from outside of this time zone, where I'm sure it may be a little bit earlier or later than we are right here in the UK. These two going at it one more time, as one of them is through to the finals tomorrow. That guy there, Greg Ritchie, will play Saturday night with Martin Adams, with Stephen Burton, with Kevin Burness. Who will join him is yet to be decided. But to extend his lead at the top of this Group C table, he's up against Jamie Clark, who has 4 points for Group C, with a leg difference of -9. But Greg is the league leader.
57.
And if he does to Jamie what he did yesterday, then this might not take long, because that was the game, or one of the games, where he got 100% on doubles, because he has now done it twice in the space of 25 hours.
140.
Against Matt Dennant earlier, he got 4 from 4 on doubles, including 2 ton plus checkouts, a 110 and a 140.
93.
And he did it against Jamie yesterday, averaging 93.
94.
Can't tell you how much I've really enjoyed watching these Scottish lads the last day or so.
92.
Would not be shocked if Scotland was to win week 4. Won by English players. The first 3 weeks, of course, with Chaz Barstow winning week 2. Scott Marsh winning week 1. And last week, James Richardson, the European MAD champion. Greg looking for his second 110 checkout of the night. Pretty predictable stuff there from Greg Ritchie, who plants another ton plus finish and is playing his socks off. Let's put it that way. I don't know if he's wearing socks, but if he is, they've been played off. How relaxed is he in this room? Absolutely phenomenal stuff. Big fan. Takes a fair bit to impress me these days. Jamie Clark, I think, is a great technician on the dartboard and has got potential. But the person who has been turning heads so far this week is that guy right there in the green and white. I've had a lovely tweet from my mate Chris Loudon,
60.
former roommate of mine on tour from the lovely country of Scotland. Former PDC player, of course, back in and around the 2009-2010 time, where we got to know each other really well. Big New York Jets fan. Just saying that there's no bagels for him tonight, just a few ice cold beers. Well, fair play to you, Chris. It is Friday night. Enjoy yourself.
57.
Don't worry, when the NFL season starts, Chris, I've got a hug waiting for you. Can't see the Jets doing anything next year.
40.
Mind you, I don't think the Steelers are going to do much either. That's my team.
140.
Great 140 to leave himself on a finish first. And you wouldn't put it past him to take that one out as well.
100.
124. Very possible. More possible now. Oh, he got greedy. Greedy. Went for the treble and went too low. Another single. The double top for Jamie.
40.
And he misses by the finest of margins, just over the bar. And Greg needs double 8.
140.
don't think he liked that delivery.
12.
And he doesn't like that one either. I think Jamie is just liking the fact that Greg has missed a double against him for a change. Gives him a chance and he takes it. Jamie Clark gets his first leg against Greg Ritchie this week. But superb entertainment from these Scottish lads so far. And this one is 1-1 as we go into leg 3. Big match coming up after this for Darren Beveridge to book his place into
180. Super.
the finals. He will play Matt Dennant, who will play his last match of the week. Or last dose of the scholar.
83.
Greg Ritchie starts this third leg with a maximum.
140.
And something else. 5 out of 6 in the 60.
60.
You wonder what other Scottish talents could possibly grace the Online Darts Live League hockey. Yes, I'm teasing you. Do you want to know why? Because I can. I'm drunk with power.
140.
Actually quite good for me to know who's coming in the next couple of weeks, and the fact that you don't. I'm a very good secret keeper, so you're going to have to wait. Single 17 leaves him on tops when he returns. And another very, very tidy leg from Greg.
58.
Plenty of time potentially to negotiate 40. He gets rid of it in 1 and rediscovers the lead at 2-1. 13 data from Greg Ritchie, and his stock continues to rise, and my opinion of him continues to get better as we go into leg 4. I feel so sorry for Greg that he wasn't able to go to Q school, because playing the way he has over the last day and a bit, if he'd have played this way at Q school, he was getting a card.
82.
He was getting a card. And we could have seen him at the first 2 Super Series and possibly doing the kinds of things
57.
that we've seen from Alan Suter this year. And let's face it, so far this year, Alan Suter is Rookie of the Season.
42.
If you disagree with that, feel free to. Tell me who's been better.
105. 40.
Jamie's in charge of this leg, isn't he? I think that last start was just a little bit out of rhythm, out of technique a bit. Just flung it away. Fraser Gunn's got in touch. Another fine Scotsman. He's really enjoyed the darts this week, as have we, Fraser. I'm really glad you've been in touch. Another 25 till he tops. Ooh, frisky.
20 left.
If he'd have got the single 15, he had a shot at the bull. Starting to see some possible exhibition darts
39.
from the Scottish lads. I don't mind that a bit. Double 5. Big dot.
And 3.
Big shot as well. 2-2 now. And he's causing Greg Ritchie more problems than he caused him yesterday. Probably because he's getting more chances, but for Jamie Clark's sake, he's playing better tonight than he did yesterday. Chris Loudon's got back in touch talking about his beloved Jets.
140.
Yes, I had to have a go at the Jets, Chris. Of course I do. Who doesn't? You can have a go at my Steelers if you want, because our defense has been absolutely obliterated in the free agency bit. I'm surprised we've got any players left. Well, there's a lot of NFL fans up in Scotland.
42.
But let's not get into that. I hear about darts before anybody tweets me saying I talk too much. Oh no, that already happened.
74.
Greg's just tailed off a little bit. And Jamie seems to be finding a little bit more. Is the knowledge that he's already in the finals allowing Greg to just relax a bit too much? Well, the moment I start with that sentence, he starts hitting everything.
140.
I wouldn't be shocked if he takes that 130 to rediscover the lead at 3-2.
59.
A little bit of an arm stretch there for Jamie Clark. It's fairly late at night. It's 11:30 where we are.
43.
You've got to constructively take breaks during the day to make sure that you're energetic for this time of night. He hasn't quite got enough energy through the air for that dart.
60.
And he knows that you can't leave Greg on finishes like this. 20 for bull.
62.
This time he's starting to miss. And Jamie is possibly the favourite for the match if he finds tops. Which side does he want? Sorry, he's not going to help you. Double 10.
40.
I don't think he believed he was going to hit that. He looked a bit deflated before he even delivered it. Double 8. It's the second time he's retreated.
9.
Oh, double wire. Couldn't have got it any closer if he tried. Can Jamie take double 10?
And 2.
Yes, he can. He's got the lead. He's looking to find more points tonight at the expense of our current Group C leader. It doesn't really matter what he does from now on out, but he doesn't want to lose a game from here, surely. We didn't have anybody last night in Group C have a perfect night. Even Darren Beveridge at position number 1
60.
was defeated. This is Greg's third game of 4.
115.
And a defeat in this game would ensure that everybody has been defeated tonight at least once.
180.
And Jamie Clark fancies it now.
$95.
He's got the darts away. How can he use them?
91.
Really good thinking. I call that the Aspinall way of thinking. Of going 17s then 18s to try and leave the 170. I think that's superbly intelligent.
95.
And he's got 6 from there to finish this job.
$65.
I don't mind that switch to the bull. I don't mind it at all. He might go back to the bullseye for that 105. He's going to have to hit it. The maximum layup. He's gone for the bull. 2 double tops. Give me another.
65.
I was just about to do the family fortunes thing. Show me tops. But in Greg's case, show me double 8. We go to a different camera angle because we can't see double 8. And he hasn't hit it. And Jamie Clark just requires one double top to finish this one here. He has done it. He's inflicted Greg Ritchie's first defeat of the evening. It doesn't make any difference to his chances of making the finals because he can't do so. And Greg is already there. So the points tallies will be done. And let's look at the most important game so far of the night. It is Darren Beveridge against Matt Dennant. And if Darren Beveridge does it in this match, he will be through. Fascinating group could come to a climax in this one. We have Darren Beveridge in the Group C table sitting on 8 points and a leg difference of +9. Shaun McDonald is on his tail, but will only remain on his tail if Matt Dennant wins this match. A very, very important game. What can Ice Cold do against the Scholar here? He's got an 8 leg advantage over Shaun McDonald.
100.
And a 2-point advantage. And he knows that if he wins this match, job done. He will join Greg Ritchie in tomorrow's finals. But as for Matt Dennant, it's been a stellar week from the Scholar. I've had some of his biggest fans on social media getting in touch.
97.
And they believe he can play better, but as far as his journey in 2021, it's only just beginning.
60.
I've been asked by Matt's dad, Gary Dennant, that the two lads in the picture on social media that was sent to me are apparently lads from Cork who are Matt's biggest fans from Ireland. So thank you for getting in touch about that. It's nice to have fans in different countries, isn't it? And I hope you lads in Cork are really enjoying the action with your viewing on your smart TV. So enjoy Matt's last match. Let's see if he can get the win over Darren Beveridge to keep this table alive. But the leg might not be alive,
120.
as Darren has missed a 144 on double 12.
$137.
Game in 1.
There you have game in 1 from Darren Beveridge. Takes the first leg, first of 4 that he requires just to shut Shaun McDonald out. And it's so far so good for the big unit, Ice Cold. Shaun plays next in his final match. Darren has 2 left. The only person playing twice in the last 3 matches. Yesterday, the only person to defeat Darren Beveridge was Matt Dennant.
140.
He's going to do it again. He's going to have to find it from 1-0 down. Tell you what, we've talked about Challenge Tour darts a little bit,
100.
because all of the players that attended Q School who are playing in the Online Darts Live League are eligible to play in Challenge Tour. And judging on what happened last year with Dave Evans and Ritchie Edhouse and Keane Barry, look at what they all did. They all got their way to the tour via the development tour and the challenge tour. So don't tell me this doesn't matter. This is a springboard. This is a vehicle for people to find themselves, find their form, find their confidence. And I wouldn't be shocked to see Matt Dennant on the tour again next year.
65.
He has the talent to be there. Of that, there is no doubt. But the same could be said about Darren,
94.
who's having a very, very good game so far and looking to double his lead after a 96 checkout, and it's looking very likely.
9 left.
I think you'd have to say oops in leaving 9 from 96. You might be saying oh no, because Matt Dennant's just missed double 11. And they're both on tricky looking numbers now. Double 4. Just a little bit off colour, that visit. Never an easy checkout when you're on the small numbers. But double 4 is very good for Matt Dennant, who levels things up at 1-1, and he will not want to leave this competition with another loss. He wants to get another win before he leaves this event. That's exactly how Jamie Lewis felt earlier. He had not won a match in almost 3 days. And he had one last attempt to get one more win against Dave Parletti, and it was... Well, it was a match, I will say that. It wasn't a very good match, but...
60.
To be fair to Jamie, he fought so hard. And eventually he won the match and made his way
140.
out of the Online Darts Live League today after 5 days of competition with one more win to his credit. Forget about the average, forget about the performance. He got himself another win and I was really happy for him.
$57.
$140.
$100.
If he wants to keep pace with Darren Beveridge's position, he's going to have to start finding more trebles that he's finding at this point in time. Darren is finding them a little bit more often, making things easy for himself. That's a beautiful approach. What Shaun McDonald really needs
So,
is Matt Dennant to win this big. And it's not going to happen by the looks of it, because Darren Beveridge has won his second leg here and he's inching closer to that coveted spot in the finals with his good pal Greg Ritchie. Halfway to 4, and I think he may just get there if he keeps playing this way. Matt's going to need one final thrust.
58.
Let's look at the scenarios for a second. Let's say Matt Dennant wins the final 3 legs of this contest.
140.
That would put Darren Beveridge on +7 on 8 points. Shaun McDonald would have to beat Greg Ritchie and have to beat him well, and then rely on Jamie Clark taking out Darren Beveridge as well. So it's a big ask,
80.
and an even bigger ask when Beveridge is finding 5 treble 20s out of the first 6 darts of this leg.
95.
What a leg this has been
100.
from Darren, leaving 81 after 9. Just a supreme talent from north of the border.
So,
Matt Dennant has kept pace with him, admittedly, with Darren having thrown fewer darts, but it's the bull,
25 left.
and he's correct. 25 does remain, and Matt's going to need another ton plus out. He had a 150 earlier, and that 57 was blocked,
56.
but he was forced to go for it. He didn't have any other choice, really. I suppose he could have gone 51-38.
Give him 2.
But the double 8, that's a really, really big hammer blow to Matt's chances of winning his last game of the week, and a hammer blow also to Shaun McDonald, who will play next, but will know his fate possibly in 1 leg's time. Matt, the first player to register a win this evening
90.
against Jamie Clark, with a fine 96 average and 44% on his doubles.
85.
But since then, it has been defeats to Greg Ritchie once more, who has bageled him twice with quite astonishing darts. And then a tight loss to Shaun McDonald, who he's had plenty of battle with this week.
So,
And if he does finish this group with only 4 points,
60.
that's not really a measure of how good a player Matthew Dennant is. It's a measure of how well the Scottish guys have played.
so,
I don't know whether it's just the camera angle, but I've just noticed how big Darren Beveridge's hands are. Kind of reminds me of Jason Lowe, someone who lives
6.
fairly close to Matt Dennant in the West Midlands. He's got the biggest hands I've ever seen in a dart player. They're like baseball mitts.
96.
I've seen that 110 check out a couple of times tonight. Can we say a 160? Go on, Matt! Fantastic!
And 3.
And the lads in Cork will be cheering that one on. That's the biggest checkout of the week. It might not win him the match, but boy oh boy, that was a piece of magic from the scholar. Get your pens out and give that a big fat tick. Beveridge was sitting on 110 to finish the job. And that's what I like to call defiant darts. Don't give them a match dart. That's how you win.
121.
Terrific performance from Matt Dennant.
$81.
Lead of 100.
40.
140.
He's not stopping, is he? He doesn't want to go home without that one further victory.
180.
But Darren Beveridge has set up the possible 340 conversion in 6 only. Oh, boy, I thought he was going to get a shot at the double 10 as well.
So,
That would have been rather sassy. This, however, oh boy, that was close. Matt Dennant to take us all the way. Double 10. All the way we go, and this game deserves it. What a wonderful game it has been, and Shaun McDonald is going to be on the edge of his seat watching this, because if Darren Beveridge wins this leg, he's through. If he loses it, the race is still on. But only just. In this format, there is a golden rule.
140.
If you're going to lose, lose tight. If you're going to win, win big.
$93.
Everybody loves a bit of group stage darts at the Grand Slam. That's essentially what this is. Just a little bit longer.
44.
Can Matt Dennant get within touching distance of where Darren is?
96.
Yes, he can. These two are tightly packed again. It was 4-3 to Matt Dennant yesterday.
60.
Is it going to happen again? He's got an opening here. He really wants it, and he's going for it. He really doesn't want to take Darren out of his rhythm. And that was what that little apology was for. I don't mind that. That's just good sportsmanship. Just didn't get his dart out of the board in time. But Matty Dennant
137.
leaves 50, and he will get a shot at it to finish his week with a further 2 points.
60.
Looks like we're going to the wire. We're at least going to the last 2 games if this goes in.
34.
And 2 match darts are missed. Could Darren Beveridge possibly take out what Greg Ritchie did earlier? Which was against Matt Dennant.
100.
He leaves tops. And Matt Dennant is in position to win. Can he win it through the posts?
Yes.
Oh, and double 8 this week has been his absolute nemesis. Double top is the saviour for Darren Beveridge, who wins the game 4-3. It was a thriller in the end, but purely because of the brilliance of Matt Dennant, who leaves the live league for now. We hope he comes back at some point. He's been absolutely superb. Well done, Matt. You've had a fantastic week, but you won't make the finals. But I tell you who has. Darren Beveridge is into the finals. That is now confirmed. Shaun McDonald will play his final match of the week himself against Greg Ritchie in the knowledge that he can't make it anymore. Well, you wouldn't blame Shaun McDonald if he was feeling a tiny bit flat now. His chances of making the finals alongside his opponent in this match, Wolfie, Kevin Burness and Stephen Burton, are now dashed. This will be his final game of the week. His 23rd in total. He has done very, very well this week. He's had some great finishes, some great performances. But overall, he has just come up short. Came up just short in Group A and just short in Group C. So lots for him to mull when he returns to the Aberdeenshire area of Scotland. It's been one win so far tonight for Shaun. He lost to Darren Beveridge earlier and he lost to Jamie Clark as well. So the damage was done until he beat Matty Dennant 4-3. So maybe we've got the right people in the final. The form horses. Well, this guy really has been a form horse over the last 26 hours or so.
81.
Lots of highlights. And we will surely talk more about those in just under 24 hours when the Online Darts Live League Week 4 Finals takes place via your favoured bookmaker site and of course on the YouTube channel run by Online Darts. I wouldn't be shocked if Shaun had a bit of a flat game here when you realise you're playing your last game and you can't play again after this. Your body will just sag a little bit. And if he can get himself up for this to try and get himself 4 points for the night, then I will tip my hat to him. A win in this game will get him to 8 points for the group. He's already assured of third spot anyway. If he wins. But he would lose third spot if he loses and Jamie Clark wins against Darren Beveridge in the last match of the night.
180.
Not the last 180 hopefully for Shaun, who sets up a first leg hold.
85.
One other thing that we need to wrap up as well is who tops the group. Because currently Greg Ritchie's on 10 points and plus 8. Beveridge is on 10 points and plus 10, so he's currently top. Speaking of tops, there is a tops. Is he up for this game? You better believe it. He wants to go out with a win. He wants to do what Matty Dennant could not do in the last match. He missed 4 match darts, but Shaun does not miss a shot for that first leg. Yesterday, Greg got a 4-3 win over Shaun.
84.
In that game, Shaun had a 1-5-2 out. Since then, he has bettered that 1-5-2 with a 1-5-4. But that shot has now been bettered by Matthew Dennant, who has the highest finish of the week by anybody
60.
at 160. You get the feeling that maybe Greg Ritchie is the kind of player who likes to play a little bit faster. He's taking a bit of a run-up from the back of the area there. Just trying to keep some distance between himself and Shaun, of course.
57.
But he looked more comfortable earlier on when he was playing against Jamie Clark. Shaun, of course, is the slowest player in this field. Does take his time. Plenty of poise before every dart is delivered. That's his style. But Greg did enough yesterday to get the 2 points. And he doesn't like that last dart 1. He, of course, has plenty to look forward to tomorrow. He's probably never had the opportunity to play against Wolfie or Berness or Stephen Burton. So maybe him getting through to the finals is just a little bit of karma for what happened to him at Q School in testing positive for COVID and not getting the chance to ruffle any of the big name feathers. Speaking of feather ruffling, he's ruffled one of his own there by missing the 19. That's such a good second dart for the bull. He's scared it a couple of times this week. And he's determined to get the biggest check out of the week, isn't he? Well, Greg's on tops. And Greg loves tops. He might be a wee man, but he loves it at the top of the board. Very Robert Thornton in that kind of style. Short in stature, but brilliant at the top of the shop. It's 1-1 in this one. You do tend to find, for some reason, that shorter players do like tops because they like throwing up to their targets. People like Phil Taylor, he liked tops a lot. Robert Thornton, absolutely loved tops. Jockey wasn't too bad at double top, although I think he was a double 16 guy, if I cast my mind back.
60.
Thank you to everybody who got in touch tonight, again on social media, talking about the 4-man team for Scotland of all time. There's some great suggestions. I particularly loved the people who talked about Ronnie Sharp,
57.
Peter Johnson, Rab Smith, and all of the others that were mentioned, of course, the likes of Les Wallace, Gary Anderson,
93.
George Dalglish, and Mike Veach, who made my 4. I went for Anderson, Jockey, Thornton, and Veach. And if I was having a reserve,
100.
because I'm allowed, I'd have Hendo. And it's completely biased, because Hendo's a friend of mine.
58.
And because he's mint. He's getting himself ready for the 3rd Super Series in Germany coming up. Looking forward to seeing John from a social distance, of course. So we can talk more about So I Married an Axe Murderer, the movie. How much could you possibly talk about one movie over the course of 10 years? Well,
99.
it continues, John. It continues. Like an orange on a toothpick. If you haven't seen that movie, why don't you watch it this weekend before you watch the finals tomorrow night? And maybe we can drop in a couple more references from it. Shaun McDonald on 145. Looking for another ton plus out. He's had plenty of those this week. I think he's on for 11 now. He's had a couple tonight. He might be the only person to have got double figures in ton plus outs this week.
56.
Single 17 for double 16 will be the target to get the lead at 2-1 after 3.
2.
And that's what he has. He's been very good down in that corner. And I have to say, when I say he's been very good down in that corner, when the week has progressed, he's got better down there. But the week is coming to an end, no matter what happens in this match. Just looking at the Premier League table after 5 nights, Johnny Clayton is top on 7 points. Dimitri Vandenberg, Nathan Aspinall and Michael van Gerwen follow on 6 points, and that makes up your top 4 currently, with Peter Wright also on 6 and 3 players on 5. It's supremely tight in that Premier League. And unbelievably, the way that Jose de Sousa has played this week, he's second bottom. Ridiculous competition. Absolutely sublime. It will continue, as does the Online Darts Live League. Let me know over the course of the next 20 hours, who's your favourite to win this weekly title? Will it be Wolfie? Will it be Berness? Will it be Bertie, Stephen Burton? Will it be Greg Ritchie? Or will it be Darren Ice Cold Beveridge?
99.
This game just feels a little bit flat. I think Greg Ritchie is really struggling for rhythm.
44.
Because you've got one fast player and one more deliberate player. I'm not feeling the chemistry of this game that I felt with the Jamie Clark game for Greg Ritchie. I don't think he's as comfortable playing this rhythm as he was earlier.
100.
Maybe that's one of the reasons why Shaun is in front. But of course, Shaun has played better.
79.
We are now playing into Saturday morning.
100.
We still have one more match to come. As far as the daily table is concerned, Greg wants to win that. And if he wants to win it, he will have to win this match, because there is a certain player in Jamie Clark who is not going through to the finals, but he might win today's table if Greg Ritchie doesn't win this match and he beats Darren Beveridge.
94.
Game 3.
Oh yeah, 2-2 it is now. And Greg Ritchie is not going to give up lightly. Him and his countrymen are on the assault for the daily title. He's not going to give up until the very last furlong. And that's where we're going in the next 3 legs. Just doing a few calculations to see who could still possibly win the daily table. Jamie Clark on 4 points and +2. Darren Beveridge on 4 points and +3. Greg Ritchie on 4 points and +3. It's all very tight between these 3 pals. Matthew Dennant has finished on 2 points and -4, so he's not going to win it.
120.
And that's 60 points on the floor for Greg. If Shaun McDonald wins this match, we'll have 4 players on 4 points with 1 match to come.
96.
And it would ensure that the last match is a shootout to see who wins the table today. Let's say that Shaun wins this match and Darren Beveridge wins the last match. Darren will win the daily table for the second day in a row, and he will win Group C as well.
58.
You get the feeling there's a long way to go in this match. And I say that loosely because it's only best of 7, so you've only got to get 2 more legs, but it's not been the most free-flowing of matches. You get the feeling that Shaun has got the bit between his teeth from this week. It's a long time since he picked up that World Youth Masters title in 2002. He's taken a huge break from the game, and now he's back. I think after this week, he wants more. I think he has got the answers he was seeking from this experience.
53.
They're both left on a finish after 12. Very similar finishes.
93.
Can Greg Ritchie have a crack at the 170, which was missed earlier by Shaun?
$84.
Nobody can leave something handy. But Shaun has the first crack to get leg 5. He's not going to get a go at his beloved double 16. Tops will have to do. He's still focused
Give me 3.
and still wants it, because that is a beautiful shot. 74 out, and he leads after 5 in this one. And if Greg Ritchie really wants to win the daily table and win Group C, then he's going to have to win 2 straight from here.
$57.
Really interesting to see when Shaun was on that 74, that just before he delivered the third dart, he said to himself, come on. He is trying to get every single bit out of himself this week.
96.
He's been working hard since dart 1 on Monday. Come challenge to our time, he is going to cause people problems. But I think he does understand that maybe he is going to have to find
57.
a game of maybe the 103 to 105 range every now and again if he wants challenge to our titles.
140.
And the one thing from this group that I can tell you is that Darren Beveridge has won a challenge to a title before. He won one in 2019. That's something that no other player, apart from, of course, the already eliminated Matthew Dennant, knows how to do.
140.
It's something that Shaun has not accomplished before. But who's to say that he can't in the future? Sometimes on that secondary tour, you do need to find that ridiculous game just to dispose of someone having a very good match. This week, his best average of the week has been 98.4. And sometimes you are going to require that 3-figure average. It's just a fact. Greg Ritchie's looking to take this all the way. We're getting our money's worth in the last few games. That is for sure. Ever since Greg defeated Matt Dennant 4-0, it's been 4-2, 4-3, 4-3, 4-2, 4-3. Everything's been close since then. Staying downstairs should be the call to leave 120, and does. Greg, for double 18. No problem whatsoever. He's still looking for that one extra win to try and tick the box of group winner and daily winner. It's still possible, but he's going to have to win leg 7 and deny Shaun McDonald another win for the week. And so far for the week, it's been a good hit rate for Shaun McDonald. Played 3 games tonight with 1 win, so 22 games he has played and had 13 wins. So he's got a hit rate of better than 500 in baseball terms. In simple terms, better than 50%.
100.
But the only way that Shaun can affect the daily table and weekly one is if he defeats Greg and denies him the chance.
93.
Is there one last flourish from this dynamite player who has provided so many highlights over the last couple of nights? Or is it going to be one more little spurt from the Punisher?
100.
It's the last time I'm going to call him that. I know he's been getting some stick. And that's my creation to call him that.
100.
Got to get a nickname sometime, right? I don't know what his nickname was before. Let's face it, I could have called him something worse. Failed on the 18s. And failed on the 19s as well. And Greg will have 6 from here. Yeah, sensible stuff to leave the 2 darter. I love the use of the 25 there. It's very much a new school approach to try and give himself a 2 dart outshot instead of 3. Just very sensible play. Pressure applied. And if Greg wants this game, it might have to be now. Double 19 for double top. That's why the camera stayed down. But this could be the last 2 or 3 darts he delivers for the week. And they could be successful ones. Double 10 and he gets 2 for it.
Way you go.
You can tell that he really wanted it. He mutters to himself, and Greg can make him feel just a tiny bit worse. Double 10, somewhat, fortunately, after that deflection.
Yeah, 40.
And he's missed. His chance to top the group might have just gone. And Shaun gets 2 more points for the week. That finishes his campaign, and the Punisher is out of here. I said it one more time, so sue me. No, don't sue me. So, Shaun McDonald is finished. Greg Ritchie is finished for today. Well, not for today, because he will be back later today, because it is Saturday morning already. But we have one more match for you in this Group C section, and it is Darren Beveridge against Jamie Clark. Time to tie things off then, as we have match number 10 of the evening. And we will finish with Darren Beveridge and Jamie Clark. There is something on the line here. In 2 facets as well. We have 28-year-old Darren Beveridge from Edinburgh, flinging those 24-gram darts with ease against Jamie, who has had a better night tonight than last night. He could potentially top today's group if he beats Darren Beveridge. The simple equation for him is if he wants to top the table, all he needs is the victory. Same goes for Darren as well. If he beats Jamie, he will top the group tonight after topping last night's group.
81.
Also, we have Darren trying to top Group C.
100.
If he wins this game, he tops Group C. If he loses the game by 4 legs to 2 or 4 legs to 3, he still tops Group C on leg difference. Jamie Clark's position of 4th in the table will not change whatever the result is. So technically it's just a shootout for today's league position
95.
and whether Darren can top Group C instead of Greg Ritchie.
140.
When they met yesterday, it was a convincing performance from Darren,
41.
averaging 96, winning 4 legs to 1. It was a precursor to what we would see for the next 26 to 27 hours. Not that they were playing 27 consecutive hours. God, can you imagine that? Can you imagine how tired they would be at this point if that was the case? 112 isn't possible.
24 left.
But like a true dart player, he knows what he's left instead of knowing what he's hit. 18's first on 118. Oh, that's a debate that rolls on and rolls on. Double 12 right in the corner for Darren Beveridge, and the plan is executed to start this one off, and we might only be 3 legs away from seeing the Group C winner. He was wearing a shade of blue yesterday with a it was more like grey, wasn't it? A nice shade of grey. But today there's a bit of black, bit of grey. It's a very reminiscent of a Chris Dobie dart shirt that Darren Beveridge has. But those mystical coloured ice cubes on the shirt, I'm digging those. I think they're great.
140.
They look like those decorative ice cubes that you get in jam jars and in vases. The ones that never melt. They're made of either glass or plastic.
$60.
This game plodding along at a very, very nice pace. If you have watched all of the games this week, I applaud you. This is game number 95 of the week.
85.
We will grace the ton tomorrow in the middle of the session. And we will release the schedule for the matches the middle of tomorrow.
60.
But do yourself a favour and tune in from the off.
100.
I promise you, you don't want to miss it. It's going to be an excellent final stage for week 4. I was really looking forward to watching Chaz Barstow have a crack at week 2. He managed to win over Robert Thornton. I'm looking forward to seeing this guy against Wolfie tomorrow. Tops, no problem. And he's looking to shut the door really, really quickly on this one to try and get a second consecutive win and send Jamie Clark back to Scotland with no win in Game 10. Apologies that I haven't given you any statistics on the last couple of matches, but my stat screen has malfunctioned. So you'll have to put up with my ramblings for at least another 5 minutes. It's something that we will endeavour to fix for tomorrow night. And I assure you that we will. Jamie with a bit of a smile on his face, a somewhat ironic one as well. He's played improved stuff tonight. And I think there is potential in Jamie Clark. And if he keeps hanging around with Beveridge and Ritchie, we could have a bit of a trio here of players that could come through together. We've seen that with some other people.
Turn.
Stephen Bunting used to hang around with Dave Chisnell. They've done pretty well. Like I said, Chris Dobie hanging around with Adam Hunt and Callan Ridds. They're all doing pretty well.
140.
And of course, Ryan Joyce. It's always good to have mates on tour. People you can bounce off and
42.
talk to them about the things that they would understand. Beveridge is looking at the bull. Oh, we haven't had a bull finish tonight. As good as that. That 121 signals a 3-0 lead for Darren Beveridge. And he is looking to bagel Jamie in the last game of the night. Someone earlier in the night accused me of saying beagle. Like the dog. Why would I say beagle? It's a bagel. Because it looks like a zero. See where I'm coming from? Different parts of the world call a game to nil a donut. I just like to use the word bagel. It's better. It rolls off the tongue easier.
43.
A bit like that score said by a Scotsman. Nobody says that better than a Scotsman. 43.
100.
I've just had a text off Hendo. While I've got time, I'm just going to make John laugh. And if you've never seen So I Married an Axe Murderer, make it your mission tomorrow to watch it, if you've got a chance. And one of the lines from that movie is, heed, paper, now. If you wonder where I get my Scottish accent from, it's because I've spent so much time with one of the greatest people in the world in John Henderson.
100.
I think this game is going to be over in 4 legs. And it's not because Jamie Clark has played poorly, it's just because Darren Beveridge has been so good. It's a bit like that Darryl Gurney walk-on song. So good, so good.
134.
And you might dispose of it in the next 60 seconds.
Turn.
That could be the last dart that he throws in the live league this week. Double top for Darren.
Game in 2.
Really, really tidy performance, and he finishes the job in no time at all. He tops the daily table, and he also tops Group C. A phenomenal performance from Darren Beveridge. You would say that it was a dominating display, but at times Greg Ritchie stole the headlines. But they're both going through to the finals. They will take place in 21 hours from now via the Online Darts YouTube channel and your favourite bookmaker sites. We really hope that you have a wonderful Saturday with your friends and your family. Stay with us if you possibly can with the coverage in 21 hours time to watch the finals. We'd love to have your company. I will be here. Will you be here? I'm Paul the Asset Nicholson signing out for just now. I'll see you in 21 hours. Have a great Saturday.